For that, I need a pencil. Here we go. All right, so here's my horizon. Here's my horizon. And here's the seagull. Oh, well, it helps if I put it on the screen, right? Okay.
I may have to get a stool. This may be too low. I need this chair. I was at a restaurant the other day for the group, and they were all laughing at me because I sat down and you couldn't hardly see me. I'd have to just scoop the food into my mouth.
And there we go. Okay, I should mute this. All right, so okay. All right, I'm gonna dry it first, and then I think I should also put the wings here. All right, let me get a hair dryer.
Picture that Kristen did one time.
It looks like it, huh? It's similar to the one that Christian did. All right. So, and is your canvas dry? Your canvas is dry. So we'll get some of that cerulean blue for the sky. I'm gonna go simple with the colors of the sky. We're and you're gonna be using acrylics, right? So okay. And I need a couple paper. Man, these cookies are so good. These are Wanda's one that's cookies that she brought today. Thank you, Miss Marla. Very good. Thank you for the cookie. So good.
You're welcome. So what did you give people, what are you starting to play with?
So we're gonna start with cerulean blue and some white. We're gonna do the clouds. And the clouds have your picture looks better. The clouds has a little bit of a yellow ochre.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna put that just yet. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the white on the clouds.
Oh, those things to cloud.
Hmm?
You said those things to put cloud?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the clouds first. Well, you're working with acrylics, right? So yours is gonna dry faster. But since we're working with oils, I'm gonna get the whites first, so they don't get oh, it's too low. Oh,
Well, I'm like Goldilocks, you know, this is too big,
Uh.
this is too little, this is just right. All right.
So how about if we put it in an easel? I think you'll be better. Yeah, I think you'll do better with an easel. Yeah. And then I'll take this from you. All right. So my clouds are white, but they're not pure white. They have a tinge of gray.
And what are you getting that gray with?
You can use any like Payne's gray or. Hmm.
I really came pretty close to doing what, putting here what you told me to bring, and so I didn't bring, the one thing I don't have is burnt umber or.
You can use that with a
This
little
is
bit of
raw.
yeah, with a little bit of ultramarine, you make a nice gray, or mix it with this blue. You make a gray for the clouds. Now, my brush was dirty with paint from yesterday's session, so it's already it's already it already has that gray.
Am I better with a filbert or a
Mm,
flat?
So I like the filberts for this for the clouds because the
Yeah.
flat will give you an edge, but sometimes some people like to have like the make the clouds with edges, and that's fine too. That's just more of a style. Um, so just put the clouds here. All right. And while I'm at it, if I'm since I'm working with white, I'm gonna just put the white here too. That way I don't have to clean the brush so many times. There. Mhm. And now for the eye, I'll go back with my pencil. Just make sure I don't lose my drawing. Mhm. I can even put some white here. And all of this is, it's on the, it's very lean. My paint is very lean here. So I'll just put it. See, while I'm doing this, I'm also cleaning the brush here on the canvas. And I'm using that paint that I had from last night's sessions. Oh, okay. Now we can get into the blues. And I'm going to mix my color. And if you notice, it's the sky is it's darker at the top and lighter at the bottom, right? So I'm gonna start with my darks, and I'll add white as I go down. And while I do this, I want to have the edges. When I get to the clouds, all of these edges are, if you notice, my brush stroke are very uh, what can I say? They are they have less paint when I get to the edge, so I can blend them better. So I can get that soft effect, and I like this type of brush because it's I can use it as a wide stroke, or use the tip of the brush. You can also use a fan brush when you're doing this too. That'll work just as well. And while I'm doing this, I'm just checking my values and I'm squinting and I'm looking at the sky and I want to make sure that the values are similar to what I have on my picture. So here, if I want to cover more area, I put more paint and less linseed oil. And that's all I'm using right now. I'm just using linseed oil. If you're with acrylic, yeah, use a bit more water.
Now, I brought that slowing agent, but, you know,
I think the oh, by the way, is it warm here? Because I have the AC on. I haven't turned on. Is it warm? Yeah,
to me,
I haven't turned on. I'm always cold, so. Ahí goes.
okay, sure, and I had to make that lost a little bit.
Yeah, and you want to put more blue on now as a second layer, so it covers more, so it's not that yellow. And sometimes that yellow background color peeks through the blue, and that's fine. I think it makes the blue more a little bit more luminous.
Have you just been using cerulean or you?
Just cerulean for now. Just cerulean. I don't want to mix any other blues because I we want to make a difference between the water of the sky. I mean the blue on the sky and the blue on the water. So for the blue on the water, you can see it's a bit darker. So we'll mix that. Now here, I need to go lighter. And this is, you can add more white to this. So here's your, as you add more white, your paint becomes more opaque also. So it covers a little bit better. All right. And you can make any shape of a shoreline that you want. If you want to make bigger mountains or more rocks, can.
How do you get the edges of the clouds and the blue to work together?
So you use a brush that you can get like kind of like rub around.
That's
there,
oil,
yeah.
and I got acrylic.
Oh shit!
I told
I thought
you.
you were.
What did I tell
I
you?
thought you were doing oils. Okay, all right. Okay, so then work with two brushes at tandem and make sure that your edge is wet when you're doing it. So you put a little bit more of the white around it. Ah, you can also. What I'm gonna do now is grab some of that. Can we put this here so I can see your colors better? Hey. So I'm gonna use my palette knife. Well, first I'm gonna do the shadow of the clouds, which is I'm going to use a bit of yellow and red. I'm gonna make an orange color. So for that, grab some of that yellow ochre that you have and mix it with a bit of a orange if you have, or brown or red. Yeah, you can mix those two together. And the shadows of the clouds. So in your case, um, try to keep your acrylics. Um, use that medium. Mix it with your acrylic so it doesn't dry so fast. Right? Yeah, you can use that. All right, here's that color too. All right, so with this blue that we have from the sky, just a touch of this orange. This is more like a rust type of a color. So this is burnt sienna. You can use burnt sienna, and you can start making the shadow of the clouds. And so remember the shadow of the clouds. It's the shadow is always on the bottom of the clouds, and the light comes from the top, generally. And this all acrylics, yeah. You're welcome. Okay, let's do the water. And I want some good coverage. I'm going to use my favorite fan brush. I mix it with a little bit of linseed oil, not too much. And I'll start with my cerulean. All right, since you're working with acrylics, once you put your layer of blue, put your darker layer while the while this color is wet. I'm using oil so I can wait. I will do all the blue with my cerulean first and then put the other layer. But for acrylics, you kind of have to work fast.
So are you saying these?
So I put my first layer of cerulean and then I'm gonna go with my second layer of cobalt blue, which is a darker blue on
Can I
top.
use ultramarine?
You can use ultramarine too. And here I'm just making the ripples of the waves. Whoopsie daisy. Whoopsie daisy. Forgot that. And now we'll repeat the same process on the other side.
Ultramarine better than Baylor, right?
Um, I think so. Yeah, ultramarine will be better. And I'm going over the legs of the bird. I'm not going around the legs of the bird. I can scrape that off. In your case, with acrylics, you can paint over it once it's dry. So don't sweat that too much.
So you just paint them with white, right?
Yeah. And while still wet, I can come with my palette knife and just remove some of that paint.
Let's see how crooked I can make the horizon. That's a challenge for me.
Feel free to use a ruler if you want to. Mine it's a little bit crooked. Not, there's no fun in using a ruler, right?
No, I know exactly what I am sometimes. That's right. This really does remind me of that painting that Crystal did.
It does. I try to remember what she put on the background. I don't remember. Um, Now, one thing I'm gonna do here that is a bit different with the reference image is that I'm going to go lighter on the bottom of the water and bring it up. I want some more light here because it's closer to us. So I'm just gonna grab the same colors that I was using, same blues, and I have a little bit of Taylor blue here, and mix it with some white. And then just make this part a bit lighter. It's almost as the color of the sky, almost. All right. Now, are you mixing your acrylic with the medium? Make sure it's still wet when you start putting the other colors in between. Yeah, good, good. If it dries on you, just paint it over. That's fine. Okay, while we're working with that blue, all right, I'm gonna use the same blue of the water for the shadow of the bird. So it will be here on the wing. What did I what did I use? I scraped no, I haven't, I just scraped them. In fact. All right, so the wing, I'm using the same blue that I was using for the water.
This makes me laugh because it makes me think of when I did my grandson's legs and I had to
And you have to.
redo them, so it was so bad. So what kind of blue were you using outside of the?
The same that I used for the water.
Well, you used two colors.
So I used a mixture of cobalt and cerulean. So in your case, you had like ultramarine, I believe. Yeah, and so mix that, and so I will use this color. this color, which is, yes, not a touch of white to that.
It's funny that the ultramarine ones give you a purplish hue.
Oh yeah. All right, here I'm still using my large filbert brushes for this. Now, one area of the shadow of the bird is on the bluer side, right? We can see it here on the wing. And on its belly, I'm going to add a bit of orange here to make this color. It's almost like the color that we used for the shadow of the clouds. So in essence, this is like a warmer gray without using any black for this. There you go.
I think I'm training my crows. And I think they brought me a gift.
Your crows? What do you mean?
I have two crow birds that are come to visit every day,
Ah,
and Nigel and Clive. And,
they have names and everything.
and so anyway, I understand that if they like you, they will bring you gifts. And
Huh?
sometimes it's shiny objects, and sometimes
Really?
it's other things. So the other day, now I can't prove this, but it was pretty interesting that there was an interesting shell left on my porch in the back. And I don't know if one of them, because I talk to them when they come by and sort of call back to them.
I've heard that they're very smart birds.
Oh, yeah, they are. And they will play tricks on you if you aren't good.
All right, see here on the tail, it's a bit darker, so just add some more of that orange with the blue to make it darker. And again, I'm not making it super thick. The paint it's. I still want to see some of that yellow coming through from underneath. Um, right here on this edge, if you guys can see, it's it's more purple. So I will grab some of this, almost like ultra. Well, I'm using cobalt, so it's a little bit more purple. Maybe I should use some ultramarine for this. Yeah, ultramarine and you know what? I'm actually going to use purple here because I think it calls it. No, that's not purple. Here, I'll make my own purple with a bit of alizarin. And this same grayish purple that I'm using, I'm gonna put it over here.
Where are you putting the grayish purple?
So you see this edge right here? You probably see it on your picture. Where's your picture? Oh, yeah, you'll see it here, right in on this edge, right where it turns from the shadow into the light. So I'll put it over here, and I'm using it the same here for under its chin or the bottom of his jaw. Some of that. Now my white got a little dirty here with blue, so I'm gonna use my palette knife and just add more white here.
One of my daughter's friends, it was just kind of funny, the husband and the wife drew each other, painted each other. And the kids were all sitting around watching and laughing. And then they eventually showed it to each other. And
Who did the better job?
oh my gosh, I don't know, but I think it was the wife, but she was so mad at what he did. It didn't go over.
No.
She didn't even give me eyelashes.
Oh, how funny.
May have had fat koi fish, but a skinny girl. Like fish. And girls kind of like maybe just not either a diet, which is notorious for giving them.
All right. If you notice here, there is a reflection on the bottom of its belly, and it's on a warmer color. It's kind of like yellow ochre, so I'm going to put that there. You see here, right here, it's basically here. So it's like it's reflecting from this area where the sun is hitting, right? So, and I'm gonna build that color. It's a nice warmer color. It's a nice warm contrast also against that blue of the ocean. All right. Now, so you can use some yellow ochre and a bit of a white for that. And you can see it better on the black and white picture. You see how it's lighter here, and it's a warm light. Here's where it gets tricky with oil paints when the paint is wet and I need to do the eye. Like, what do I do? Because it's if I start putting dark colors here, it's going to turn all gray. So one of the first things I do is I just scrape as much as I can. I can also use a silicone brush for this. Do you have one? Borrow your silicone brush. You didn't bring it? Oh, here.
Yeah.
So I can use that. And I'll use my favorite tool for painting, which is a pencil. So, and I have my maul stick here. So since my painting is still wet, I'll use the maul stick for this. Maul stick. So yeah.
Oh.
This is my fake maul stick. This is for a um, closet. So you can put this in a closet and then right and extend. Yeah. So, but I like it because it serves a couple of purposes, especially if I'm painting plein air. And if I have a canvas that doesn't have a bar in the back, I can put this and I can grab the easel. The easel can hold this. So it's a dual purpose tool, but I use it here to lean my hand. Right? Let me make sure that. So I like to do this in pencil. I think it's there. Take a break. I want to put before we take a break, I'm going to put the shadow on the pylon here, which is going to be this burnt sienna. Should use this other brush. Some cobalt blue, some orange and burnt sienna, and we'll put this shadow here. Put more of this burnt sienna.
What are you using?
So burnt sienna, or yeah, burnt sienna or similar, and blue, cobalt blue. In my case, you can use ultramarine. You can even use cerulean. And keep your. I'm scraping the canvas because I want to see some of that yellow underneath also. So put some of that. You can put some of this shadow here. You use the same color and put it here on the edge on this border. You can use a palette knife too. And drag your color. Yeah. That's right. All right. All right. I need to make a yellow here. I'm making myself a yellow ochre, which I don't have, but you have. Okay. So for this side of this pylon, I am going to start with this reddish orange. This will be easier in acrylic actually, because you can use your palette knife or your brush if you want to, and put the dark color first. And then layer it up. I use yellow ochre and some blue to get some kind of a green color here. Not yet.
Yeah, we're working on
Yeah, the palette knife is your temperamental friend,
it. Yes.
and you have to just let it do its thing. It's, it's not going to budge to your request most of the time. So it's kind of like the friend that you have to that says, "Trust me," and and
Yeah, and then I go, yeah,
and
right.
yeah, right, and then you're like, "Okay, yeah, right." I'm mixing some white here too. So one side is lighter than the other one. And we can use it here on top of the pylon too. And again, it's okay if you cover the feet of the bird because you can paint it on top. And you can bring a brush. You can use a brush for this. You can, I will call it the intermediary friend between the palette knife and you. It's that friend that makes the piece, right?
No, sometimes we're not talking to each other.
Sometimes they don't, but there's always a friend that likes to make peace. So
Yeah, really. Some friends are an acquired taste, this happens to be one of them.
some friends or some relationships, you always struggle. There's always a wrestling. It's like a wrestling match, a friendly wrestling match, which I think is necessary because it's like when you think, when you're thinking, you're wrestling with yourself, right? There's I'm gonna use the same colors for the tail of the bird, and it's this reddish brown here. And we'll use the palette knife here too, just for this edge right here. Uh-huh. And for the legs, we'll use the same method. So some part of the legs are in shadow, right? So I'm gonna start with that. It's a reddish color and some reddish brown. But most importantly, this color has to be a warm color. So you can have good contrast between that and the water. Then after you do that, you can put after you put the shadow, you put the light part of it, and we'll use a brush for that. It's a warm yellow, almost like an orange. The feet, it's almost like an orange color. And I need more yellow. Oh, before I do that, I'll put this same warm brown that I put for the legs, and I'll put it on the beak here, on the shadow of it. There. And did I leave my pencil here somewhere?
I don't know, but here's one if you want.
Oh, here it is. All right, so this is a 5B pencil, and I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with the eye to get this line here. I don't want to do this with a brush, so just do that. And I'm actually pulling some of the paint, oil paint, and just refining the edge here. Grab a bit of orange and yellow here for this, the bottom tip. There, okay. So now I can get into the light for the legs. And so this is a brighter yellow-orange color. Here you want to use more paint than, you want it to be load your brush more than, instead of working too lean. Then you put the color on top. Same color for the top of the beak. Get a smaller brush if you need to make that detail. Actually, probably gonna use a palette knife for that. There. Back with a pencil. Okay. All right, I'm gonna get into the shoreline. I guess it's like an island in the background. I'm borrowing the same colors here. Too much yellow. I'll start with the darker first. Put some of that darker color. Some of that in the horizon. Here, the key for this is just to get a warm color against this cool blue. And even when you do the white here, your white has to be a warmer white here. Now, I know it's at a distance and I know it should be a cool color, but we're making a contrast now. So let me grab some of this. All right, I'm gonna use my pencil to define the legs here. Um, this color here first. Here. All right, reflection on the water here. Use a bit of white and your palette knife, and just a few touches here. Maybe put some of that there.